my string trimmer. It's seized. Let's figure this out. This is one of those string trimmers that got left on my property by some previous tenants. I'm not going to give you the whole history on that, but let's just say they weren't really into maintenance. So they had about 6 or 8, or they had a bunch of these sitting over there, and they didn't run. I got either 2 or 3 of them running. I don't remember. And this one worked the best out of all of them. Well, up until yesterday. Working along, and you could tell it was laboring, and of course I just kept going. Before I had started it, I had checked the oil. There's oil in it, and it's looking pretty good. So, and I'll show you that here in a minute after I get done telling my story. Anyway, it just ceased. It just stopped. So I let it cool off. Checked the oil again, plenty of oil, and it didn't restart. The thing it's just seized. I don't want to spill my coffee because you know priorities. So, but if you go to pull this, it's rock solid. It's not going anywhere. So today what I want to do, I'm not going to try to fix this engine. Why? I got like 5 others over there that are in various states of operation. So chances are pretty good once I figure out how to take this engine off, I'll go grab one over there that's not seized and bring it back over here and put it on this one and get it up and running. But today we're just doing an autopsy. I want to take this thing apart and see why it failed. Now, having said that, I'm not a small engine guy. I'm not a big engine. I'm not an engine guy. So I'm going to have to figure out how to take all this stuff off. And anyway, we'll see how it goes. So first thing I want to do is I just want to get the plastics off and just see if it's something stupid like a rock up in the top or what. But anyway, feel free to skip forward to the end and figure out what the cause was. I'll put a recap on the end. Or just hang around and watch me struggle trying to figure this thing out. Okay, let's get started. Okay, there's a lot of small engine guys on YouTube. I'm not one of them. I'm just a guy. And so if you really want to know how to do this correctly, I recommend you go watch one of their videos. This is more of, I'm going to take it apart and throw it in the dumpster when I'm done with it. Excuse me, I'm going to recycle it when I'm done with it. Type of video. But I really would like to know what caused this to fail. Oh, before I get too far into this, oh, I got that. It's hung up on something there. Gas cap, I believe. I wanted to show you the oil, just to show you that I wasn't lying to you about the oil. So why would I lie? Ooh. Yeah, okay, so it does have oil in it. I gotta figure out how to show this to you. But, it's kind of metallic-y. It has kind of a metal sheen to it that it didn't have the other day when I started. Because when I started it up, before I started it, I checked the oil, and I just wanted to make sure that it had oil in it. And it did, and it looked fairly clear. Now, that I just sat there and said, oh, it looked fine. Well, it did look fine, but, you know, fine is subjective. The fact that I could see through it at the time probably led me to believe that it would be okay. And that went all the way down to my shoe. I should say my sandal. I got a comment on one of my other videos about wearing socks with sandals, and yeah. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Depends on how hot it is. Like today, it's in the 90s, so I'm not putting it on. I'm not wearing socks. But if it's cold, I'm not wearing if it's cold. I am wearing socks. I lost my little cap here. I'm trying something new with this microphone. So let me know if it helps. I gotta step up my game on my videos. And audio, they say, is one of the best places to start. So we've checked the oil, and this is just, I mean, it's just solid. So let me spin these guys off, and that should get this top piece off, and then we'll get the fuel tank off. I probably should have drained the fuel tank before I put it up here, but I didn't. I'm gonna put that cover back on. In the shop right now, it is over 80 degrees. So that it's gonna be smelling like gas if I just leave that open in here. Okay. There's the pull start. We'll see if it's not seized. Okay, so it's fine. And I don't want to just be chucking that plastic away, because a lot of the other ones over there, the plastics are just god awful. Uh-oh. Wait. So it'll go so far that way and not this way at all. Well, okay, so it can, but I have to force it. So this would be running backwards here, and it stops there and it goes there. So from a degree standpoint, you're looking at about 40 degrees rotation is all I'm getting out of this thing. So you know what I should do? Let me see if I can get this muffler off, and we'll just go straight for the head. You know what, let's check the valves and see if the valves are bound up or what the story is with them. How many you got? You got 3. So far, I've only had to use this 8mm nut driver, which is a good thing. Well, that and a screwdriver and a Torx. What was the Torx bit on the top? It looks like a T25. So I'm up to 3 tools now. And of course, the first 2 tools I grabbed were the wrong ones. And I need to get some. Paper towels over here, because that's leaking. And this oil, it's black with metal in it, completely impregnated in it. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to put that valve cover back on, just so, well, there might be a head bolt in there I have to get to. I don't know. Again, not a small engine expert. Oh, as for what type of engine this is a Briggs Stratton. That's what it said on the plastic over there. And the model number of string trimmer is a TRM 675 MN, Mike November. And then after that it says 1370. I don't know what that stands for. Get this guy out of the way too. And the reason is, you can tell it hasn't been run that long, because the air filters, it's not bad. I mean, it's got a little dirt in it, but again, I want to save this plastic here. What does it look like inside? Okay. The valves are fine. Well, I say that, but I really don't know. The push rods aren't bent. The rocker arms aren't bent. I'm not seeing any carnage here. So what I want to do now is I'm going to put the valve cover back on it, just because I don't want it pissing everywhere. And if you watched my other video, you know that I had adjusted these valves. So they were not out of adjustment. They didn't feel like they were out of adjustment now. As you can tell, I don't have a lot of high-tech tools, because I do a variety of things and just trying to specialize in a tool set is not something for me. So for Father's Day, my daughters, just making conversation here, my daughters got together and made me some t-shirts for the YouTube channel, and I absolutely love them. Am I selling them? No. Why aren't I selling them? I don't know how. So if anybody has any advice on that, just let me know, and I'll see what I can do. But they are really cool. And it's basically what they did is they went to my YouTube channel and they took a bunch of stuff off of it and made t-shirts with it. So I thought that was really cool. And this is nothing special, so there's no need to come in here and zoom in. I'm literally taking plastic pieces off. And I think I'm gonna have to get a smaller nut driver. Yeah, that's a little bit smaller. I'll grab a couple. Save me a trip. Or just clutter up my workbench. It'll just clutter up my workbench because this is just one size down. This is a 7, I guess. And there we go. There's that bit of plastic. I'm going to have to put the screws back in where I took them out of simply because I have no memory. No memory left. So that's, I don't know what that, I think that's like a choke. I think this here is like a choke. On old carbureted cars, you'd have an electric choke, and I think this is similar to it. It's not electric, but it takes the heat off of, oh, you know what it's like? It's like the, where they used to run the heater hose up across the side of the carburetor, and there was a little arm that the hose ran through to help with the choke. Okay, I don't know how to get those back two out of there to get that plate out, because they are back up in there. Probably have to use a wrench. I don't even think you can get a wrench in there. So there's something I just don't know. Fuel tank. How hard is it to get this fuel tank off? Because it just lifts out, but it's connected right there. So let me get some vice grips and some pliers to pop those off. And the vice grips will squeeze the fuel so it doesn't leak too much. Of course, where I have to put the vice grips is going to block me from, there we go, getting in and getting the, I think last time I did this I wound up taking the wheel off just because it's such a pain in the butt. Let's see if it'll just slide off. I don't want to damage this carburetor because, you know, as far as I know, it's a good carburetor. And I can't get that off. I can't get into that. Can I get into there? I might be able to get into there. Let me get some needle nose. Some long needle nose. See if I can get... No, these are too skinny. Try some slip locks. Get up in there. There we go. Actually, if I take it off there, all the fuel is going to piss on me. If I can't take it off there. And these aren't quite long enough to get up in there. See those YouTube guys? They make this stuff look so easy. Let's see if I can get this guy to rotate up. There we go. I don't know if that's doing me any good. Get down in here. This is one of those constant tension clamps. And actually, it's what I prefer to use. And the reason I prefer to use these is because it gets cold here. And when you do maintenance on something and it's warm, it's fine. But then it gets cold, and guess what? Your clamps are all too loose. With these, they adjust with the temperature. They just get tighter. Okay, so I was able to get that off, and then I backed it off, and now flat bladed screwdriver in here. I really don't do how-to videos, and I don't like doing unboxing videos, but we all want to know what this engine's going to look like on the inside, so. But I don't want to do an hour-long video on this either, so I'm going to edit a bunch of stuff out of it. Okay, let's see if I can lift this guy off now. It just slips down into some holders there. So I just got to see if I can pry it up. Oh, that side went. And there we go. Let's sneak in here. And there we go, the fuel tank's off. Now I'm going to set it right here, and the reason I'm going to set it there is so when it starts leaking out, it'll leak all over my grinder, and then when I go to use the grinder, we'll have a nice little fire. Which, of course, will make good YouTube content. Okay, let's see if I get the rest of this carburetor off. It's got this metal shield on here that I just simply don't know how to get off. See if this breather tube will just pop out. And there it goes. So I got the breather tube off, and it's nasty. We'll just set that right there. So how do you get those off there? Let me show you what I'm dealing with here. So this is it, and right down in there, there is a bolt there and a bolt there, but it's like completely bracketed by this, well, bracket. So let me see if I can figure out how to get that out of there. Okay. You know, I wonder if the carburetor, oh, look at that. Turns out, all you have to do, don't make a liar out of me, is bend these out a little bit. Yep. And the carburetor itself just pops out. So before I get too far in there, I want to take a picture of the linkages. Because again, you know, memory issues. And this way I don't have to remember. There we go. Memory. Okay, so this slides out, and this rod here, the long choke, I'm assuming choke, just slides off first, this goes second, and there goes the fuel on the floor. Alright, just go down the workbench. I got it. Here we go. Let me move some of these tools because they're starting to take up my work area. I still have access to them, but they're not right underfoot. Okay, so I've got this, do I need to take, I don't think I need to take this bracket off. What I think I'm going to do now is pull the spark plug, pull the head, and we'll see if we can get looking down inside the bore. Spark plug. Not sure which size, but we'll figure it out. There we go. I'll forget how to put this back on because I didn't take a detailed enough picture. I'll figure that out another day. Spark plug. Yeah. Okay, it's the little one, which is a 5/8. And we'll take a look at the plug. I used to be able to read plugs. I can't anymore. So, and to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to matter on this guy. Let me give you my prediction. Oil fouled. We'll see how much oil is in it. And based on what I'm seeing on the threads, quite a bit. Oh yeah, it's oil fouled. So here we go. And there we go. I mean, it's not bad. It's coated with oil. There's still a gap there, but I'm not seeing any sparkles from where material transferred to the spark plug from like a piston coming apart or something like that. So that's taken care of. And that plug, you could actually clean that plug up and reuse it. But not with a sandblaster. That used to be the thing. You actually used to be able to buy little tools. You hook it up to an air hose, you put your spark plug in and clean it. Well, once they figured out that that was eating engines, they quit selling those, which is too bad. Okay, so I'm going to take the head and muffler off as an assembly, and we'll see if I actually can. I've got the kill switch here in a little holder that I just popped out, so it's gone. So anyway, let's see if we can get this head off. I don't know what size. What's your guess? I'm gonna go 1 metric and 2. Let's try 13 millimeter to start with. 12, 13. 12 or 13. Well, it's not 13. And it's not 14. So. And it's not 12. Wow, I wasn't even close. There's a joke there. Not being able. Oh dang! I'm down to 10 millimeter, which is where I should have started. There we go. See if I got an adapter for my impact gun. Because this is going to get old quick, trying to spin these out by hand. I may have to break them loose with the wrench, but oh, much faster. Let's see if it'll get it. Oh yeah. 1. I only see 4, which doesn't sound right, but again, not a small engine guy. It was only 4. Okay. So here we go for the big reveal. Oh, what is that? That is, oh, it's hung up right on, it hung up on the, one of the carburetor rods, this guy here. And it is not pretty in there. Let me get these bolts out and then we'll look at the head first and then we'll get to the bore. And there's the push rods. And they're kind of gooey. Okay, I'm gonna wipe my hands off. I only own one camera, so I can't mess it up. And there it is. There is the cylinder head. From what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing any cracks. Lot of carbon buildup from burning oil, a lot. Valves look okay. I mean, they're still there. They're not broken. The head gasket was not leaking, so that's not even an issue. But the head, it's salvageable. The muffler, salvageable. The carburetor, salvageable. So what we're down to is just the block at the end. So give me a minute and we will look at that. Okay, we'll get the head and muffler assembly out of the way. Just set it over there. Do a minor housekeeping here, because I don't want to make too big of a mess. And let's take a look at the cylinder. Now, I'm not really set up to do this type of stuff, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to leave you in the tripod so I can move light around and stuff like that. Still might not be all that great, but let's get you zoomed in here. I will do the best that I can. And if I see something that's not in this view, I'll let you know. Okay, so the first thing I see is the oil, and it looks awful. And the walls are oh, you can feel it. So the scoring on the walls is just horrendous. We used to have this rule at this company I worked for that if your fingernail could catch, it was bad. Well, it catches 100 times in there. Let me check the other side. And it's just as bad on the other side. Let me see if I can get you a close-up. The problem is lighting. You know, I just don't have enough lighting in here to do the stuff I do. Okay, so hold on. Let me get you out of here and see if we can. Oh, I got you all zoomed in. Have to zoom you out now and get a light and see if I can. You can see these score marks in there. It's just awful. And it's on both sides. So, anyway, let's move on. Let's see if I'll put you back in the stand and I'll see if I can get it to rotate. Okay, so let me see if I can get it to turn. No, it's just barely turning. Let's check it again. That's the top. Yeah, it's about 45 degrees that it can turn. And then it just, let's see if I can force it past. Right there's where it's stopping. Oh, no, it's not going that way. Let's go back and forth a few times. See, where's it at? Okay, that there is actually the bottom of the stroke. Let's see if it'll go this way. It went that way, of course. That's backwards. And it's going. Look at that. If I could just run the engine backwards, I'd be okay. Because as soon as you try, there it is. But let's see if there's something like a ridge or something that it's catching. And no, there's nothing. No. I mean, it's scored, but there's like no deep ridge. So the next thing I have to do is I have to take this engine off to look at the bottom end. And to be honest with you guys, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to get this off of here. So I'm going to pause the video right now, and I'm going to see what I figure out. And then once I figure it out, I will bring you back and explain to you what I had to do to get the engine off the frame. Okay, I flipped it up on its side. And actually there's not a lot going on here. You've got your cable here, which activates the head here. So that's not a big deal. Then you've got some belt guards, a belt guard here and a belt guard here, and then the 3 bolts that hold the engine on. So I think if I can get the belt off, which, you know, apparently it's not that hard, then the next thing is if I can get these 3 engine bolts out, it should literally just lift off. So let's see what we got here. So we're taking a guess on what size these are. I'm going to start with 13. That's close. I think it's either 14 or 15. There's 14. Really dry today. There we go. And that's 3/8 dry. See if I can just use my little impact gun here. Get these off. Dang, I should use this more often. Don't get me wrong, I use it for a lot of things, but I typically don't use it for running bolts in and out. But seriously, I just didn't want to bore you guys to death. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip it up. There's 1 bolt holding it in still. I'm going to flip it up, see if I can figure out a way to get that 1 bolt out while it's up, and then maybe the engine will just lift it off. So hold on. And I just drained the oil, and it's metallic gray. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, trying to get up there and get that 1 last bolt out. I may have to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, got it. Well, the screw's disappearing, so, oops, I think I flipped it. There we go. Oh, I gotta come up with a name for this. I think I'm gonna call it the Briggs Stratton Autopsy. Wow. Thought about calling it the DR string trimmer, but Briggs & Stratton is, a lot more things have Briggs & Stratton motors on them than just string trimmers. There we go. That's the last one out. So now the engine should just lift right off. And it does. And there we go. So what I want to do is I'm going to have to get some blocks and set this thing on. Okay, I flipped the engine over. Again, I hate to keep saying this, but I don't know how these things come apart. It appears that there's a plate, there's a bolt, 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 spider hole, bolt that I think Well, oh, but then I gotta take this pulley off. So I gotta get that pulley off first, which means I gotta get this nut off of here first. And well, let's see how that goes. All right, now we know what size it is. Let's see if I can just spin it off with this guy. No, it's not enough going on there. So now I have to figure out how to hold the engine from turning. And the question is it a left-hand or right-hand thread? I don't see any marks on it that would tell me either way. Let me see if I can get some channel locks to lock that up. Well, let's see if I can get some channel locks to lock this up. This I may have a chance at. I can't get a good enough bite. No, this is not happening. Oh, maybe. I'm gonna have to get on that side though. Let's face it, I'm not the strongest guy on the planet. Make sure you're still taking pictures of what I'm working on. Back it up. There you go. So hopefully you'll be able to see this. Yeah. Just in case it doesn't say. I don't know, but I got to get this off before I can do anything else. Give it a couple love taps. Do is turn that. Okay, let me get some vice grips. Yeah, I don't have any vice grips big enough to grab onto that. Let me think about this for a minute. Of course, now the engine's turning, but we know there's something wrong in there. Got it. Doesn't mean this is going to come off, but I got that out. And let's see what we got here. I just want to see how tight it is. Let me beat my tools all up first. There you go. You know, there's a saying, I'd rather be lucky than good. And in this particular case, I'm damn glad to be lucky. So that's off. So now, I think, let me reset all my tools here. Lay stuff out of the way. Okay. So now I'm back to getting these guys out. And if we look at the size on that, 10 millimeter. And let's see if we can spin these guys out. Let me make sure you're watching what I'm doing. There you go. Okay, let's get these guys out and see what happens. Oh, that's weird. That just stuck right in there. You know why? Because I think it's actually smaller than a 10. Or it's not metric. 3/8 fits better, so we're going to run with 3/8. I got lucky I didn't round that one off. Okay, I'm going to get these out of the way. It's not like I'm going to put them back in anyway. Set those over here. Okay. It's one last look to make sure there's something right there. Is that another one going? Yep. Okay, I think I've got one. Or is that a pen? Those are dowel pens. Let me grab some penetrating fluid and drop in on those dowel pens. Okay. Well, I don't know if that one went down in because there was a spider web in there, but it's better than nothing. Okay, let's see if I can get this popped off here. There you go. Probably should have marked the case which way they went, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. I don't think this guy's going back together. Okay, let me give you a look at the oil, just the inside of this. And that is just pure sparkles. Just pure sparkles in there. So something's coming apart. There's no big chunks. At least I don't see any big chunks yet. I got to pull all this other stuff out of here that I have no idea what it is. I think it has to do with governors or something like that. Anyway, let me get all that junk out of there. And we'll go for the connecting rod, which is still connected. So let's keep going. Okay. Normally I would take pictures of this stuff, but it's not going together. So I just want to get it out. And I guess that's your camshaft. Is that your camshaft? Yep. So that's your camshaft. And here's your two lobes, one there, one there. They're plastic, it's kind of amazing. And the followers are right here. And you guys probably can't see jack, but here's your followers, and they're falling out, so I'll just go ahead and take them out. The push rods push on the cupped end there, and the cam rides on the big flat end, and we're down to connecting rod. And so I gotta get this in a position where I can get a wrench or something down in there and see if we can get that out. See if I can get you a better look down in there. Okay, there it is. So here's your connecting rod, your cap. So I'm going to try to get these two nuts, bolts off there. Are we guessing on what size those are? Because I don't know. Let me look at them. Let's see if we can guess. I'd say 8. 8. Well, okay, let me get a better feel for that. I'm kind of concerned now because, let me see, let's check SAE because other bolts on the engine have been SAE. Well, it's really hard to tell which one's sloppier. It's somewhere between the 5/16 and an 8mm. I think the 8mm is a little bit tighter. Let's see if I can pop it off. I'm gonna have to smack it. And so, excuse me for a minute. I gotta get it to where I can work on it without beating everything up. There we go. Now I can get it off. Are you guys still looking? You're still looking. Okay. A little bit further over. There we go. Let's see if I can smack that. I'm sure this is in a textbook somewhere. Probably under wrong method. Okay, so I got that one loose. Let's move this guy around, see if I can get the other one in a position to, and now everything is getting taut. Okay, let's see if we can get that now. Basically what I just want to see the bearings. That may have fallen off, not turned. Yeah. Okay, so let's try it again. Didn't have a really good bite on that. Yep, this is falling off, which could be a problem. A little bit different angle. Okay. And there you go. And for all the people that are wanting to grow up and be mechanics, that's the wrong way to do it. Okay, let's see if I can spin these guys out. And we'll get a look at that rod cap. Here's one, and that got tight. I'll probably speed this up because it's boring. Okay, let's get the rod cap off. And actually, it doesn't look that bad. Now, having said that, I don't see a separate bearing in there. And because I don't know if they come with separate bearings, but it's not all galled up. It's still smooth. Yep. Okay, let's see if we can get the piston and connecting rod out. Okay, let's see if we can get this guy out of here. I'd like to get it out without it like getting mangled, so I can get like what the pristine or the as-is condition. Now that's down at the bottom, which is where we noted that it was hanging up at. And it does not want to budge. I'll give it a little persuasion. There we go. So we got it all the way up to the top, as far as I can tell. Clean that up a little bit. And it'd be nice if I could pop that over, pop the rod over, span the crankshaft out of the way. There we go. Now I got a fly biting my foot, even after I sprayed stuff on it. Okay. I don't know if I can get that, no, because that's hitting there. So I'm gonna have to give it some taps underneath to get this to pop out. I'm just trying to think of what I have to, yeah, screwdriver. Where's the screwdriver? Here we go. So we'll just have to recognize that if there's taps, it's from the screwdriver. And there she comes. I think I just dug that into the sidewall. And there it is. So I got this guy out. Let's take a look at it. So again, oh, that's kind of chewed up. Yeah, that's kind of chewed up. Let's look at the skirts. They're really chewed up. And this one here is chewed up even worse. And there's the big chunks. Oh, I mean, you're not even in frame. So here's the skirts. And that guy's big chunker right there and there. And in case we missed it, that's that. So it was not, the wrist pin is fine, the connecting rod is fine. It was literally the sidewalls of the cylinder. So I think we found the primary culprits. The primary culprit was the cylinder walls getting all chewed up in there, and then the piston itself, it's all chewed up. But I think another contributing factor in this is the oil. The oil itself is filled with magnetic particles, and I think it loses its lubricity and becomes an abrasive, and it just got between the cylinder wall and the skirt of the piston and just literally locked it up. So that was fun. I'll have to do that again sometime. Again, my next goal is to get another engine and put on this and see if I can get it up and running. That'll be in a separate video. Thanks for watching.